Hello everyone, welcome to CodeChef. Today we'll talk about for loop applications. We've learned the fundamentals of for loops in our previous videos. Today we are going to put that knowledge into practice by exploring real-world applications of for loops. Let's dive in. In today's video, we'll explore 4 practical applications. First, iterating over strings, accessing each character one by one. Second, pattern printing, creating visual designs like triangles and pyramids. Third, generating multiplication tables, a classic programming exercise. And fourth, series summation, calculating the sum of number sequences. These are real problems you'll encounter in programming, and for loops are the perfect tool to solve them. Let's start with strings. In C, a string is just an array of characters. Each character has a position or index starting from 0. What makes strings special is that they end up with a special character called the null terminator, written as \0. This marks the end of the string. We can use a for loop to visit each character one by one, from the first character at index 0 all the way to the null terminator. This lets us process, display, or modify individual characters. This technique is fundamental for tasks like counting letters, finding specific character, or transforming text. Next up is pattern printing, one of the most popular exercises for mastering loops. Using for loops, especially nested ones, we can create all sorts of visual patterns. The key concept is this: the outer loop controls the rows, how many lines we put. The inner loop controls what appears in each row, the columns or characters. By cleverly combining these loops, we can print triangles, squares, pyramids, diamonds, and countless other patterns. Each row might have different number of characters, and that's where the relationship between the outer and the inner loop variables become important. Pattern printing is not just fun, it really helps you understand how nested loops work together. Multiplication tables. These are a classic programming exercise and incredibly useful for understanding loops with arithmetic. The concept is simple. Take a number, multiply it by 1, then by 2, then by 3, and so on up to 10 or whatever limit you choose. The loop variable becomes a multiplier, and in each iteration we multiply our base number by the current loop value and display the result. This teaches you how to combine loops with calculations and formatted output, skills you'll use constantly in programming. Next, we'll talk about series summation. This means adding up a sequence of numbers like 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 all the way up to some number n. The for loop makes this incredibly simple. We start with the sum of 0, then loop through each number in our series, adding each one to our running total. By the time the loop finishes, our sum variable contains the total of all the numbers. This is the foundation for more complex mathematical computations and is used in everything from calculating averages to statistical analysis. Series summation demonstrates how loops can accumulate results over multiple iterations. Now let's take an example and understand this code in detail. Here, we have started with our standard input-output library and string.h for string operations. Our first application is string iteration. We declare a character array called text containing hello. Now, here in the following lines, you can notice our loop condition text I, and which is not equal to and null terminator. This means continue as long as the current character is not the null terminator. We start at index 0 and check each character. For each character, we print its index position and the character itself. So, we see H at index 0, E at index 1, and so on. The loop automatically stops when it hits the null terminator at the end of the string. Now, the next lines of code show pattern printing with nested loops. Our outer loop uses variable row and runs 5 times, representing 5 rows of output. Now, the inner loop contains call, and here's the clever part. It runs from 1 up to the current row number. So in row 1, it prints 1 star. In row 2, it prints 2 star. In row 3, it prints 3 star and so on. This creates a right triangle pattern. After each complete inner loop, we print a new line to move to the next row. Now our next lines of code generates a multiplication table. We set our base number to 7. The loop variable I goes from 1 to 10. In each iteration, we multiply 7 by the current value of I and display it in the format of 7 into 1 is equal to 7, 7 into 2 is equal to 14 and so on. The %d placeholders in printf are replaced by our three values number, I and their product. Now comes the part of series summation. We want to add all numbers from 1 to 10. We initialize sum to 0 before the loop. Inside the loop, sum plus is equal to I means add the current value of I to sum. So sum starts at 0, becomes 1, then 3, then 6, then 10 and so on. We print each number with a plus sign in between them for visualization. After the loop completes, the sum contains 55, which is the summation of numbers from 1 to 10. The lines 43 and 44 handle the formatting to avoid printing a plus sign after the last number. Then we go to return 0, which indicates successful program completion. Now we try running the program. Here you can see the results where the string iteration is shown character by character from index 0 to index 4 containing each letter of the word hello. And then we can see the multiplication table of 7 that we generated. And finally the series summation that sums all the numbers from 1 to 10, which gives us the value of 55. Now it's time to apply what you've learned. Head over to CodeChef and practice these applications. Keep practicing these patterns and I'll see you in the next video. Happy coding!